The holidays are always an interesting time with families. We get together with people that sometimes we haven't seen in months or years. Maybe it's once a year, twice a year. But it can always be an interesting time. I love my family. But you know what? Families are different. They're different. We have different personalities. We have different traits and characteristics. We have different issues and different conflicts that we deal with, and everyone's different. But your family is your family, and families matter. They really do. Families matter. They matter because those relationships are really at the core of who we are. We were raised with those people, we grew up with those people, and those people really do matter. Now I know some families are really toxic, some families are really dysfunctional, and there are some people that you're probably better off not being in relationship with. But for the most part, our families can be our support, our encouragement, the people that come together, the people that are there for you that you can count on. Not to say that all families don't have conflict, because we do. We're humans. And sometimes we see things differently. Sometimes we have different viewpoints, different political orientations. Sometimes we don't see eye to eye. Sometimes we have control issues. Not to say that control's a factor with families, but it is. It is. And that creates conflict. Some of us tend to be very, demanding and want things a certain way. Some of us tend to be critical and perfectionistic. And sometimes that creates problems in families. But you know what? There was this study that was done years ago, and it was looking at longevity. Like, what is it that helps us to live the longest? Is it, our diet? Is it our exercise? Is it the environment in which we grow up in? Is it our genes, our genetics? What is it that determines the length of our life? So they looked at all those factors, and they found that one country, Sardinia, one country happens to have the highest longevity in the world. And they looked at what is it about that country? Again, it's a country off the coast, it's an island, it's off the coast of Italy, and that one country had some interesting characteristics that we need to be aware of. So they looked at diet, they looked at the genetics, they looked at, what they do for exercise. And they found that the thing that kept them, living longer, the factors that were most important were community and relationships and connections with people, family, friends, community. It was the connections that they found were the most important aspect of them living longer. Our connections, our family matters, and families do matter. They're so important. And yes, sometimes there's emotion, and sometimes there's conflict, and sometimes there's stress when you get together once a year and you do things together as a family. But you know what? If you can approach family in a positive way, I have 5 things that I want to encourage you to be aware of when you think of your family. The first is attitude. What's your attitude? What kind of attitude do you have as it relates to your family? Do you go in with a positive attitude, or are you focused on the negative aspects of the individuals? The second is, do you acknowledge? Do you acknowledge your differences? Because we're all different people. We all think differently, we feel differently, but do you acknowledge those differences? And do you, number 3, accept? Do you accept those differences? And number 4, do you appreciate? Do you appreciate what it is about that person and those people? Because you know what? That is our roots. That's where we came from. And that's, those are the people that know us the longest, our family. And yes, we've had all different experiences and we have all different personality types, but we need to work on acceptance, on accepting each other. And the last one, and this is probably one of the biggest ones that so many people struggle with, and it's being able to apologize. Being able to apologize to the family when there's conflict. Being able to apologize to family when you said or done something that was hurtful. It may not have been intended, but it still was hurtful. Being able to apologize and then being able to forgive and being able to reconcile, because family is family and they're important, and they're an important part of life. And our connections and our relationships matter. They do. They really make a difference. And they matter not just in your health and your well-being, but in your emotions and also in your life, your quality of life. So remember, during this holiday, this Easter celebration, remember that our families matter. And being with family, although it can be stressful at times, although there can be conflict and turmoil, to remember those 5 A's: attitude, acknowledgement, appreciation, acceptance, and to be able to apologize. Until next time, Dr. Tony Ferretti, signing out.